Welcome to Caffeinated Conspiracies, where mysteries, conspiracies, and the unexplained come to life. Grab your favourite brew and get ready for a mind-bending journey through the extraordinary.
I'm Omer, and
I'm Glen, and together we're your hosts as we sip on curiosity and explore the enigmatic.
In each episode, we'll dive deep into the unknown, unravelling tales of intrigue and shedding light on the secrets that have baffled the world for centuries.
we're not just here to tell you the stories.
We're here to question them, dissect them, and invite you to join the conversation.
So, brew your curiosity, prepare to be captivated, and let's embark on this caffeinated adventure together.
This is Caffeinated Conspiracies.
And we're your guides through the uncharted.
Grab your coffee and let's dive in.
The JFK Assassination is one of the most significant and controversial events in American history. On November 22nd, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. His death remains the subject of numerous conspiracy theories and debates. Was it an act of a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, or was it a result of a larger conspiracy involving multiple individuals or organisations? Theories, evidence, and questions surrounding this event continue to fascinate and perplex people to this day. In our episode, we delve into the JFK assassination to explore the mysteries, controversies, and the unanswered questions that still surround this historical tragedy. So, welcome back to season 2. We're here. We're back. We hope you've had a fantastic new year. We hope you enjoyed season 1 and you've still listening and you've been eagerly awaiting the drop of season 2. Well, I'm back, myself, Glen, and Omer is back. Omer, how you doing?
I want proof you're back and you're not a robot, or a replica, or a lizard man.
Well, the lizard men people are coming in one of the episodes. Not this season, but it's on the list now. That list has been growing since season 1. With the amount of people that have got in touch, it has been absolutely amazing.
You look too different to be the same person.
And that's a haircut, my friend, and a nice shave, you know. That's all that is. To see how I look now, check me on TikTok. When the episode launches, because we are recording in November of 2023, and this episode will launch in January of 2024, I will no longer look like this, and I'll be looking at this as I'm doing the editing going, God, I wish I still looked like that. But yes, it's the new year, so we thought we'd start off with probably a very big conspiracy. But what I do want to say this season is we have gone for a bit more of our supernatural sort of episodes.
This one doesn't have supernatural.
This one hasn't, but it does have...
But there are more supernatural stuff
There
coming.
are more supernatural coming in, but this one does have, and Omer, you'll love this one, it does somehow tie to aliens. In some of the conspiracies anyway. But let's get into it. This week we are back and we are looking at the JFK assassination. Now, obviously, this is massive. This has been going on for years. A new book has recently been released about it as well. So there's been a lot going on. Now, in season 1, I always went to Omer and asked him, where did his research take him? Nothing's changed. Omer, man, where did your research take you?
I spent way too much time looking at the actual footage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to anybody listening, the footage is out there and you can actually see the news reports and what was out there. It is all out there for anybody to see. So just put that out there for you. And it will be on the links on our YouTube page where you can go and view that footage.
I mean, every conspiracy theory, everything I read kept taking me back to the footage because everyone keeps quoting frames of the footage. And I'm going back to it as like, I do not see what you see.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The whole story is absolutely crazy. I wouldn't mind though, but as we were sat sort of discussing season 2, we'd finished our first season and I was doing the editing and was finishing it off. My other half, she was watching The Crown, and there's a bit in there with the JFK assassination in it as well. And it was bizarre because we just had a conversation about it.
You saying The Crown did it?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, but it's not what I'm not saying, okay? Everyone is a possible suspect at this point. I mean, is there anything in particular that stood out to you about the assassination?
It was the gunshots, because the distance, the fact that he didn't hit the target he was meant to hit, and the fact that people only heard 3 bullets. Like, what was it? Like, one of the facts that my fact sheet has was 80% of the witnesses recall hearing 3 shots, and all 3 shots hit someone.
Yeah.
1 hit the bodyguard, was it? 2 hit him. But it's like, if he was that good and he was going to hit somebody with every shot, he would have done it in the first shot.
Yeah.
He wouldn't needed 3, and the fact that 3 all hit someone.
Exactly.
That's what gets me on. It's like, if you're not that good of a shooter, 3 shots, 1 hitting someone, 2 missing, or 2 hitting someone, 1 missing makes sense to me. But all 3 shots you shoot hit someone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this whole thing that there was even the idea that he was too high. So this is Lee Harvey Oswald that we're talking about here. Some people were saying that he was the person who shot JFK.
The convicted shooter.
Yes.
Well, not convicted, because he didn't fully make it to trial, did he? He died before.
That's what we're going to get to. So let's just rewind. Let's go through the actual story. So we've got in 1963, JFK and his team were planning for the next election. He hadn't formally put his name in yet, but it was clear that he was going to run again. And at the end of September, the president went to 9 different states in the West. The trip was meant to spotlight natural resources and conservation efforts, as well as he used this to talk about education, national security, and world peace. JFK stressed about winning the states in Texas and Florida, and he planned like a 2-week visit to the states with his wife as well. So they planned to go to these states and do what, we've seen it before, where the presidents do their rallies and they do the talks, and this is exactly, I mean, coming from us here in the UK, it's very different how our politicians do it to sort of the American ones. And I mean, JFK was quite, as far as I'm aware, it was quite beloved by a lot of Americans. Obviously there was a few states that may not have liked him, but you can't please everybody, can you? So this would have been the first extended stay since they lost their baby in August. It's the August of the same year. On the day of the assassination, Main Street at Dealey Plaza, I believe, was lined with people waiting. The car turned the corner at roughly 12:30. In the car was the president, his wife, Jackie, the Texas governor, John Connolly, and his wife, Nellie. As the car passed through the book depository, gunshots were heard. That's where you were saying before. And the bullets were fired from a 6th floor window. They entered the president's neck and head, and he slumped onto his wife. The governor was shot in the back, and the car sped off towards Parkland Memorial Hospital. Nothing could be done. A little after 1 p.m, JFK was pronounced dead. A Catholic priest was brought in to read the rites. The governor, however, made a full recovery. JFK was brought back and placed on board Air Force One. That morning that he was brought to Air Force One, the police had arrested Lee Harvey Oswald, recently hired employee at the Texas School Book Depository. So that's where he'd got himself a job there. They're saying that's where, obviously, to set up so he could shoot him, and he planned it all out. He was being held for the assassination of the president and the fatal shooting on Sunday morning. So this would have been November 24th. Oswald was scheduled to be transferred from police headquarters to the county jail, but before being transferred, he was shot. The assailant was identified as Jack Ruby, a local nightclub owner. Oswald died 2 hours later. Then on November 29th, 1963, President Lyndon B. Johnson was appointed President's Commission on the assassination of President Kennedy. So just there at the time, I mean, there's a lot there to go in. a lot happens in such a short space of time that literally shots were fired and everyone panicked and no one sort of knows what happened. Now, I mean, did you get any other information in regards to the story at all? Did you look into anything else?
Besides, like, when I was looking just for the facts of it, just what you've already mentioned, and, like, everything else was like part of the theories more than actual
Yeah.
facts.
Well, when I said with season 2, I was coming in with more information and making sure that we were right with the facts. I was on it this time. Compared to season 1, I was making sure.
The difference here to everything we've discussed before is this one has footage, and as I mentioned in the open, it's called what, Zapper footage? Zapper? I can't remember how to pronounce the name. I did read how to pronounce the name. Do I remember? No. Zapruder? Abraham Zapruder film.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, that's a short film that literally caught the shooting and saw the shot that killed him.
Yeah.
As well as you did have people around and about with cameras just taking still images. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of still images around the place. Not many can be seen. The still images can be seen of exactly when he got shot.
Yeah.
But the Zapruder footage sort of film. It's called the Zapruder film. Yeah, it does show.
It was very well documented. Documented. I can't even say the word. Documented. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I feel like an idiot now. I mean, there you go. Season 2, nothing's changed. We're still idiots. It was very well documented. There was live news reports. There was people filming. There was pictures. I mean, like I say, it's the 60s. I mean, things have come a long way from like some of the things that we've discussed in season 1, where there's little to no evidence of anything. I mean, when we mentioned about Jack the Ripper, all we have is a few documents. We have no photo evidence. We have no, anything like that could help us. Whereas with this, even though it is still a very big conspiracy and still people are still asking the questions, was it Lee Harvey Oswald who actually committed the murder, or the assassination? It's one of those ones, even though it was still very documented, we still don't know. And that's where the fun part comes in.
The conspiracies from this go from the micro to the macro. It's really like the small stuff is who shot him. Was it Lee Oswald? Because the police picked up 3 dudes who they later released because there was no way they could have, but they just labelled them tramps. They didn't give names.
Yeah.
So it's just 3 dudes who could have possibly done it, but the police at the time said they couldn't have due to a lack of evidence. Just labelled them tramp. Did not give names.
I mean, I love that. The fact they've just called him Tramp. Do you reckon that's like where Supertramp came from?
Probably.
When I was young, you see, life was so wonderful.
Probably. And then, so the president gets shot, life's not so wonderful because you're being...
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's... On top of that, the footage everyone saw, shows Kennedy's head go back. So everyone assumed the bullet came from the front on the grassy knoll, and that one's the one that gets mentioned a lot.
Well, we've got all that to come in the episode.
But then it's then every other theory around, it's either about the gun shoot or every other theory steps way back and says, okay, let's forget who shot the gun, who said shoot the gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where it gets really weird.
It does. I mean, this list goes on forever, and I've listened to other podcasts that are discussing it. I've watched documentaries that discuss it. To be fair, the JFK assassination has fascinated me for quite some time. It has been really interesting, but it's very heavily in pop culture as well, which I'll go into in a minute when we go through sort of
genuinely
theories.
Find me a time-traveling show that didn't do the Kennedy assassination.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing that's quite fascinating about it as well, is it even... how many years on are we now from the 60s? 40, 50 years on. And it's still at the forefront of people's minds, and it's still at the moment, like I say, a new book was recently released about it, which will probably mean a new documentary will come out at some point, and there'll be new evidence that comes to light. And even when we had all the CIA files that were sort of taken on this, they were released, but a lot of it was heavily redacted. And it's like, well, why declassify it if you're still redacting quite a lot of the information? And I think that's the fascinating thing, is that it's still very well covered up and not really explained. We've just been given Lee Harvey Oswald shot him, like it or lump it, accept it. I suppose we do try and look for other answers.
But they got lucky because they couldn't really prove it was him or interrogate him because he got shot 2 days later.
I mean, tell me that doesn't sound suspicious.
That sounds like a scapegoat to me. Somebody's killed him. And Jack, who was it? Jack Ruby, the
Ruby,
club owner.
The nightclub owner, yeah.
Like, why would he give a shit?
Yeah, exactly. Again,
but apparently
I have got
so
bits...
much about the first lady that he was like, I don't want to see her go through it. That's why I shot him. It was just a fit of rage. It wasn't planned. Anyone could have done it.
Exactly.
With no reason. It feels like a scapegoat.
It does, and I mean that's the thing that's always baffled me. And I mean, we will go into it. I've got so much I want to say, but first we're going to take a very quick break.
And back to talk about shootings and conspiracies and government plots. And we record this on the 6th of November, not the 5th.
There you go. All right, can you imagine? Yeah, to be fair, if we tried to record yesterday, the amount of fireworks that were going off around here and the dog barking, I don't think we would have got an episode done. It would have just been mass chaos. But yes, welcome back after the break. Hope you're still sticking around and enjoyed some of the ads for other shows in that little ad break there now. But let's get into the theories. Now, these are the theories that are already out there. These aren't ours. These are legitimate theories that people have come up with. And Omer, you already said one, the grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll's like the biggest one.
The
Everyone
biggest one.
is
let's
that one.
go to that one first, the grassy knoll. I mean, this conspiracy states that there was a second gunman situated on the grassy knoll.
Behind a picket fence.
Exactly. Now, a committee that was looking into the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1976 reopened the case with stating it was possible there was a second shooter. However, in 1982, another committee stated there wasn't enough evidence to commit to a second shooter theory. But this hasn't stopped people from sort of exploring it and it being the main theory. And whereas we said with being in pop culture, I went and did some proper deep dive here.
Do you watch Red Dwarf?
That's what I was going on. Season 7, Episode 1 of the cult British comedy Red Dwarf shows a grassy knoll gunman being none other than JFK himself. The episode was Tika to Ride. If for anybody who wants to watch that episode, fantastic episode. Just watch all of Red Dwarf, that's all I'm saying. Just watch all of Red Dwarf. Craig Charles, big fan of the show. But we also see the grassy knoll incident in the Netflix adaptation of the Umbrella Academy as well. Now,
they blamed the Umbrella Man, didn't they?
Yeah, so I've only gone with sort of two there that we've seen on TV. There's loads on there.
Didn't Umbrella Academy do it as like an alternate to reality because they messed up reality and they had to fix it by making it the man on the grassy knoll?
And you know what? Because it's been so long since I've watched it, I can't remember. I think it was number 5. Is it?
Yeah, he was going through time.
Yeah, so he's got the younger version of himself and the older version of himself, and the older version of himself takes the shot there because he was the second gunman because he was fixing the time from a time agency, and then ends up bumping into his younger self, and they go a little bit crazy, and it causes a few incidents. It's really weird.
Time travel always is.
Yeah, but I mean, what are your theories on the grassy knoll theory?
See, the grassy knoll theory seems a bit too public. Like, if you look, like, where they've got to say he's hide behind, that picket fence is not that high. And there's a lot of people there. The thing that threw me off the grassy knoll theory is there was a statement. Where was it? It's in my notes somewhere. Lee Bowers, that's who it was, was in a 2-story railroad switch tower 120 yards behind the 120 yards up, behind the grassy knoll, about 100 meters away. And he had a clear view of the grassy knoll, where the shooter was meant to be. So if there was someone there and somebody running away from there, he would have seen it. But he says no one.
There was also saying that obviously they can sort of do the acoustic testing, and obviously no one heard a gunshot from there. But as we know, I mean, how accurate are these testing? You know.
So the issue with the acoustic test is, for one, like any of the images in the video that I mentioned earlier, the film, are all silent. Sound wasn't being recorded at that time. And the acoustic testing they can do is just like, if somebody shot here, how would it sound? And then people being like, oh, that's what I thought I heard. So it's just people.
Yeah.
And as we've discussed before, people's memories can be altered. We
said it's season 1, episode 1, false memories. You know, it's easily done.
Is the first person who got hit, who I've for some reason left out his name out of my notes. But when he got hit, he reacted to where the bullet came from, which was behind him.
Yeah.
So it's like, acoustics or not, we know which direction, roughly, the gunshot came from, the first one.
Yeah.
And if you're assuming all three are the same, then it's got to have been that the grassy knoll just keeps getting eliminated.
Yeah.
It's got to have been behind them. The repository, the book repository is like the most likely location. The grassy knoll one just keeps falling flat the more I look at it.
It is the most popular one, and I think it will still be a very popular one, and some people will not let it go. So we now sort of do things a bit differently on the show. When we've got some of our theories, we give them a scale of, I'm going to rate them 1 to 5. Let's do it that way instead. We'll
Oh, this is 1 to 5. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it on a scale of 1 to 5. I mean, we were going to do 1 to 10, but I just think other shows do 1 to 10. We'll be different. We'll do 1 to 5.
Okay.
So on a scale of 1 to 5, Omer, the grassy knoll theory, where are you putting it?
I'm going 1. I don't like the theory.
You don't like the theory. I'm going to go, I'm sort of midway. I sort of going to give it a 3. I like the theory. I think that someone, even though you said that there was somebody who was watching the grassy knoll, could have seen it quite easily, no one would have had to run away because they were quite far away. I think they could have just put stuff down and walked on casually. Or even blended in with the crowd. So I think there could be something there, but because so much time has passed, I don't think we'll ever know. Now,
I just give it the one because, like, for one, there's the tower, the dude in the switch, who I mentioned, and then there's the film footage itself, the Zapruder film.
Yeah.
Literally, if you watch it, as everyone keeps saying, frame by frame, you can tell the gunshots come from behind. So the knoll's out. The knoll would have been a great place to put your scapegoat.
Yeah.
Have someone shoot from there and have everyone think that's where he got shot from, so the guy who actually shot him could get away.
Okay.
But it's not the way it looks, no matter which way I look at it.
No.
So I'm like, the theory came from somewhere, and I'm assuming it wasn't just a stupid idea because there was some basis to it. So I can't give it a 0.
No.
I'm giving it a 1 because I don't like anything else I've found.
No, that's fine. So another theory was it was the Umbrella Man. Now, this was also used in Umbrella Academy. They sort of tied the two together, which was quite cool. At the time of the shooting, a man with an umbrella was filmed at the scene. Some believe the man opening the umbrella was assigned to assassinate the president and that he blew a poison dart. The truth to this theory, apparently. And
Wait, it said poisoned. That's not what I read in the one I had.
Go
That
on,
just makes it
go on.
even more stupider. The one that I had
I
said
won't
it
go
was
into
like
the truth
a
bit
single...
until we've scored it. Go on.
The one I read was like single shot rifle, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Now that I'm hearing poison dart, it makes less sense.
Yeah. I mean, even to be fair, the umbrella opening could have been that there was a second person, and that was the sign to go and assassinate. You know,
People are distracted, but you wouldn't need an umbrella to open to tell you, "Hey, go and assassinate."
Well, no, it was
You
a nice day, wasn't it? You know, it wasn't raining, so that's the bit that baffles me: is why was there a guy stood there with an umbrella? And I mean, there's not really much to this theory, and there wasn't a lot out there, but I just found it really cool that there was just this random guy in a suit and an umbrella, and he just opened it, and then next minute there was also chaos. Do you think he thought, "Oh shit, was that me? What have I done? Oh god!"
I mean, if that was you, you would definitely be blaming yourself. You're like, "Fuck, what did I do?"
I'd throw the umbrella and run. You know?
No, because that would have made you look more guilty.
But I'd never use an umbrella again. You know, that would be it. That would be my life over. I mean, going off what we know, that I know there's only like a little bit there, and obviously what you had as well. On a scale of 1 to 5, where would you put the umbrella?
No, because there was one other thing. He like gave a vague reasoning for having the umbrella, and
we'll go into that in a second, because it sort of disproves the theory. But on the theory note side of it, what would you score it on a 1 out of 5?
on the theory, because like, unless the dude was like James Bond or somebody from what was that called?
Or MI5?
No, the Golden Circle. What was that movie?
Oh,
Kingsman.
Yeah, the Kingsman.
Yeah, unless it was one of them two, it just doesn't work. So that one, like, I enjoy the idea of it, of like one dude with like a secret agent umbrella that no one could figure out was actually a weapon.
Yeah,
Because I enjoy the idea. I'm gonna give it 2.
You know what? I'm there with you. I like the idea, but as I read onto it, and I read onto another page, and I was going more research, is the truth was the theory was less mysterious. 3 men in question. The man in question was Louis Stephen Witt. He said in an interview that the umbrella was a way to heckle the president, and it was something to do with the UK Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain.
Yeah, because
Is that what you got as well?
Yeah, because his reasoning was if he wasn't allowed an umbrella, it's basically martial law where the president is, and it's close to sort of the way the Nazis used to treat people. So he's like, no, this is a free country, I'm going to have my umbrella.
It's just absolutely baffling.
Which, given his reason, is a very American response to something.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I like the idea, the fact that it was just this random guy with an umbrella, and as he's opened it, all hell's broke loose. And now he's thinking, crap, did I do that?
I mean, it'd be really suspicious if, like, he opened the umbrella as he got shot and blood just missed him because it hit the umbrella. That would have been too convenient.
Yeah. On to the next theory now. This is probably one of the ones I'm leaning towards as being the most significant answer, but there's more to it. That the whole thing was a mob hit. Okay, so let's face it, JFK was, no stranger to the mob or organised crime. Some believe JFK used the mob to sort of win the election. The reason the mob wanted JFK dead was due to the botched Bay of Pigs incident. The mob run the casinos in Cuba, and however, when Castro took over power, the money flow dried up for them. They were out of money. So another reason was that JFK's brother was the Attorney General and was on a mission to stop organised crime. Now, have you got anything from this as well? I mean, I've got a bit more, but I'm just cautious that I've done a lot of talking and,
No, the mob one was like I mentioned, there was everything that sort of focuses on the shooters, how many there were. This was one of the bigger picture ones that the mob didn't like a lot of what JFK was up to at the time.
Yeah.
and they just needed somebody to take him out. Which, considering how quickly the presidential seat changed, because it was quite quick. Like, usually there's like weeks of deliberation before you get another one, and even if you know one, you'll have a temporary one in the meantime. But it changed so quickly, it means like it was almost planned ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, I've got here as well the infamous connection for the organised crime was Jack Ruby. The rumour is that the mob hired Oswald to make the hit, and Ruby was there to clean up and remove Oswald from the equation.
Yeah, scapegoat.
Yeah, there is some evidence to suggest he was involved in illegal gambling and narcotics as well. He was even approached by the FBI in 1959 to become an informant on the Dallas crime scene, but no contract was ever drawn up and never provided any information. The Warren Commission looked into it and they concluded that there wasn't a significant link between Ruby and organised crime, whereas the second investigation, 1978, called the House Select Committee of Assassinations, was able to find a little bit of a connection between Ruby and the mob. Now, that one sort of makes more sense to me personally, anyway. Now, I'm not sure if that's the same for you, but it does.
I liked this one. I genuinely
like
liked
this
it.
one. This is like when the mob were a mob, you know, they were proper gangsters. These were real gangsters. Not like you've got like little sort of like, what is it they call them, with little pen knives and things like that, and they're like roadmen. These were proper gangsters. This was it.
But yeah, like at this point, like organized crime was on the rise. It was big.
Yeah.
It was already like big from before because there was less policing. But around this time, one of the part of this same conspiracy, which you never mentioned, was even the CIA was looking to get the mob on their side to help fight against other organized crime. So they wanted the mob to help them fight everyone else. So then all they had to do was with the mob. But the mob saw through it and were like, nah.
Yeah.
You want the mob, you're the mob, you've just been approached by the CIA to say, hey, join our side to get rid of everyone else.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to say no. So what's the CIA going to do? They're going to go to the next big one and want to take you out. So as a mob thinker, you'd be like, we need to shut them up before,
yeah,
you know, they start working again. And what better way to send a message to the CIA than take out the president?
Yeah. I mean, I really do like this theory. And like I say, it's probably one of my more plausible ones, and ones that, you know, I'd say the non-skeptical side of me is sort of leaning towards, I like this one. I mean, if on a score of 1 to 5 for me, I'd say this is a 4. This is up there, and you know, again,
I'm with you on it. I agree. 4.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is the more plausible one. This is what I really think did happen. But then, as I was doing the research and I went into the next bit, I also thought more that this could have been it as well. And this was the fact that it was an inside job.
Oh, yeah.
There is speculation that Oswald was hired by the CIA to take down JFK. In 1995, former US Army intelligence officer and National Security Agency executive assistant John M. Newman published evidence that both the CIA and FBI deliberately tampered with their files on Lee Harvey Oswald, both before and after the assassination. Both agencies withheld information that Oswald posed a threat. In the evidence, it was also suggested that the CIA chief of counterintelligence may have had a hand in the assassination. This has also been very popular theory and believed to be the most truthful, and would allow Lyndon B. Johnson to take on the presidency. I don't think it was just that as well. Something I read just today that I didn't get to put in my notes, but I read it today, was the fact that they also wanted to take him out not just to put Lyndon B. Johnson in, but at the same time is he had information of extraterrestrials that he wanted to release to the public because he started the space race, and he was like, it's my dream to put a man on the moon. We're going to do it by the turn of the century and everything like that, which is what he was aiming to do. And it was for the reason that he believed that there was something out there and that we'd had contacts, and he was going to release that information as well. And the CIA and the FBI thought that was too much power for one man to hold, so they, hence the fact that they've messed about with, tampered with the evidence, with the Lee Harvey Oswald and things like that. And that's why when they released the documentation, a lot of it was like still heavily redacted.
So with the redaction, it played into more than just them two theories, because it helps with sort of the mob theory, because like I said, CIA were looking to recruit the mob. Yeah. You've got the alien theory, you've got CIA just wanting him out for their own reasons, and then you've got the communist angle, because Oswald was heavily into communism, and he'd spent some time in Mexico before the shooting. So then you've got Fidel Castro in it. Now imagine you're the CIA and you've got an American who's boasting communism. You promise him, hey, we'll look into your communism and make it a reality in the US if you take out Castro. Yeah. So him being who he is, like, they redact his file to give him anonymity when he goes over, and, themselves anonymity. But he doesn't do it and comes back. That was one of the theories that they wanted him to take out Castro, but he didn't. He came back because he was pro-communist, which quite a few people were back in those days.
Oh yeah, they were, yeah.
And then just came back pro-communism, wanted Kennedy out, took the shot on behalf of Castro.
Yeah. I mean, the CIA being involved and basically orchestrating everything sort of still ties into that mob one as well. That them two sort of theories seem to connect ever so slightly, because the CIA could quite easily cover things up and hide stuff, and they will have wanted. The Bay of Pigs incident was a big thing, and it was just like a complete botched job, and nothing, it didn't happen, and it's very well documented. I said it again, documented that it was a monumental fuck up, and JFK was to blame, and obviously people wanted him out. Some people, a lot of people did like him, but I think I don't know. I like this theory as well. That the CIA had a hand in it, and the FBI, and it's all just been one big cover up, and that's the conspiracy behind it. Was it all a big cover up? I mean, for you, what do you want to score that on a 1 out of 5?
I mean, cover up sounds right. The reason of the cover up, I'm not sure. So saying they covered it up because they wanted him dead, I feel like there were better ways to do it, so I'm going to give that one a 3.
A 3.
But saying it's a cover-up, that's a 5 out of 5. What was the reason? I'm disputing the reason for the cover-up, not the fact there was a cover-up.
Okay, so you believe that the CIA was doing a cover-up, so you're giving that a 5, but for why they're covering it up, you're giving it a 3.
Yeah.
So you give it an 8.
No. You get the average. It's a 3.5.
Oh, okay.
We'll hit in the middle. 4.
We'll go on an average. You know what? I'll do the same. I'll do the same on that one. Yeah. The cover up, I 100% agree on. I do believe it's a cover up. I do believe that mixing the last two theories that we had, the mob and the CIA working together, or something along those lines, or they've orchestrated something, they knew all about it, this plan, and they've just let it happen. So yeah, I'm going to give that a 5 as well. Now, that's all my theories. Did you come up with any more? Did you get any more theories that are out there, or Was you just sort of on the same lines as that?
I found a few like weird ones, and one of them like I just didn't get. So I read it, and it still doesn't make sense to me. Because there's one that says that a black dog man was involved, and he can be seen on frame 413 of the footage. But I kept going back and forth on that bit, and it's so blurry. How you see a man and a dog is beyond me. But apparently, because the shots happened just where he was,
Yeah.
like a couple of like I think it's 100 frames after, just before the dude, they were like, "That's the mark you need to get him by," and that theory was like he was involved. But like, they looked into the dude who was stood there and eliminated him, but like, the dog's not been cleared. Nobody.
Right, I'm giving that theory a 5 out of 5. That dog has done something to piss somebody off, and it had to be taken out.
But some of the like this one, because there's like so many like big theories out there. There's some like really insanely stupid ones, like it was an accident.
How do you accidentally assassinate a president?
So the killing of the president was planned.
Okay.
It was a Secret Service agent who saw the initial shot,
Yeah.
reacted to it. He missed his shot with a Colt AR-15, and like he's the one who hit the president and killed him.
I've seen that theory. Yes. The security guard who accidentally shot him.
Secret Service agent, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
I was like, now you can understand why a cover-up makes more sense, can't you? Because if that actually happened, yes, you would be covering everything you can up. You don't want to blame your own Secret Service agency for killing the president.
You really don't. Imagine that. Imagine if it was your first day on the job as well. You got to call your wife after, yeah, honey, I've been fired. Why? I accidentally shot the president. How do you accidentally shoot the president? Well, funny story. I was scratching my leg with a gun.
No, wait, wasn't... Oh, no, that was Oswald's story, wasn't it? Like, in the army, he got discharged because he got, like, court-martialed twice. But one of the times, he shot himself in the knee.
For fuck's sake.
While arguing with somebody else. He was in an argument.
The
and a
story just gets more bizarre by the hour. Jesus Christ.
Now you're telling me this guy pulled off an assassination alone. Not happening.
Nah. Guy shot himself in the leg, scratching his leg with a gun. I'm done. Why did we pick this for episode 1?
Oh, no.
This should have been the season finale.
So wait, accident. What do you give that out of 5?
I'll give it a 3.
I like it. I gave it a 3.
I like it. I just think that, they needed a bit more to it.
My favourite one, which kind of feels like an outer ring theory, like it doesn't feel like it belongs in with it, but it's just a fun one to look at.
Okay.
Was Woody Harrelson's dad was involved. Yes, the one and only Woody Harrelson, the man, the legend, his dad was somehow involved. And the theory goes that because Charles Harrelson was born in Texas and he was there around the time. And as I mentioned earlier, there were the 3 people who were picked up and just labelled tramps.
Was he one of them?
No name. He was theorized to be one of them and involved in it. So I was just like, you're really stretching there. You got somebody famous who's amazing and you're like, oh, his dad was around. Let's connect those 2 dots, even though they shouldn't be connected.
I mean, we can say Woody Harrelson, big fan of the show. He listens. He calls us all the time and tells us how much he loves it.
I just now need him to do a show where he is playing one of the tramps in Eternity. It would just round it off perfectly.
That would be brilliant. That really would. That is bizarre. I mean, as much as I like the theory, I'm going to have to give that a 1. But I like that. I like it. I do like it.
I enjoyed somebody stretched for it. But yeah, that one's definitely a 1. The other 2, I think, one you vaguely hit on but didn't say what I got for it, and that was the Illuminati are to blame.
Oh, right.
Because back then, the theory was the Illuminati had control of the American Treasury, the Federal Reserve,
Yeah.
and they were against the publication or creation or whatever you call it,
Yeah.
the issuing of silver certificates to the Treasury. They didn't want them because then it would dilute their money.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they wanted Kennedy dead, so that wouldn't go ahead. But the weird thing about that one, because as quick as it was to come out and as interesting it is to say Illuminati or like any of the big organizations did it, it was quickly put down because like Kennedy was working on getting rid of the silver certificates. So why would you want to kill him? He's doing exactly what you want. Yeah.
What you want him to. I mean, the Illuminati will come back in season 3 when we do talk about the New World Order, which I can say is in season 3. It's one we are looking forward to.
Illuminati's, Rothschilds, all of them will get covered
all
at some
of it,
point.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny that somebody like, oh, let's blame the Illuminati, but with no good reason. You just like want to blame the Illuminati, and I feel like there's a lot of theories that go that way. We just want to blame the Illuminati because we need them in trouble for something. It's like when it's like when they used to get mobsters on tax evasion instead of killing people.
The easiest solution that they can get. Any more?
Last one you hit on was the only other one I had was aliens organized the hit.
The aliens organized the hit, right? Okay.
It got better because it was Milton William Cooper, a former US radio personality, author, and good rights activist, spread the news of Project Luna, a secret alien base on the dark side of the moon. And because he promoted the conspiracy because JFK had information on this and the aliens didn't want it getting out, so they gave a gas-pressured device to do the shooting, not a gun.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to say it was like a gas-pressured item, you wouldn't have heard gunshots, so that one's way out.
Yeah, that's a bit... 5. Give it a 5. That's a 5, that one. That is so believable. I love it.
Aliens did it. I love it. I'm going for a 6 out of 5.
I'd say a 1 on that one as well, to be honest. As interesting as it sounds, don't get me wrong, the dark side of the moon thing and all that, and yeah, that sounds pretty cool. But I mean, we'd only just started the space race.
How would he know? Like, I mean, we had satellites up already. We had a lot in space by this point. They had ideas of thingy.
We'd not sent anybody to space, though, so...
But just imagine, there is an alien base on the other side of the moon that is advanced technology enough to kill anyone who even thinks of going there. No, let's start a space race. Let's see who can get there first. Let's see who we can get killed first. I
mean... Going off now, so those are some of the theories that are out there that have been posed. I mean, have you got any of your own personal theories that you've come up with?
Oh, it's weird I didn't come across it, but I like the idea of a second shooter.
Yeah.
I would believe if there was a second shooter, he would have been in the same building.
Yeah. Okay.
Just imagine, because all the gunshots came from the same side, and like I say, I literally did watch the Zapruder film, like frame by frame, to see where all the hots, and it's quite clear, like the killing shot came from behind, because enters the back of the head, front of the head explodes because it needed an exit point. So it's clear the gunshot came from behind. So, given that he missed his first shot, if you had a second guy on a different, slightly raised sort of level, everyone's going to hear the gunshots come from the same place. And if you time your shot the same time as one of Oswald's, it's going to sound like one shot.
One bullet, yeah.
And one of the guys who was in the building only realized it was from his building because the gunshot rippled the building so hard that drywall fell from the ceiling. But he was above Oswald. So imagine somebody above him taking that shot, shaking the floor for it to have dropped.
Yeah. Good point.
So my theory, there was a second gunman. Oswald was the scapegoat because he was shit enough to miss the first shot. Because he missed two shots. One hit the guy at the front, the bodyguard. The other one hit Kennedy in the throat.
Yeah.
And this guy's upstairs, and he's like, nope, can't risk him messing up again. Because there was, like I say, 3 shots is what's believed to have been taken. Third shot killed Kennedy. And somebody else ended up with what was assumed to be a bullet wound, but could also have been flying concrete. But there was one of the pedestrians watching everything who did get hit as well.
Yeah.
So if you're imagining Oswald's third shot hit the bystander and the actual guy upstairs hit Kennedy, feels more right to me than anything else.
I like it. Now, I've got some theories, and the one thing I need to ask is, do you reckon Mothman was there?
Oh, he was definitely there.
I'm
convinced.
Yeah.
I'm convinced he was dressed down with a dog.
He was the dog.
He was.
He's a shapeshifter. One thing I have got is the coincidence between JFK and Abraham Lincoln. So get this. So both Lincoln and Kennedy were concerned with civil rights. Lincoln was elected president in 1860, Kennedy in 1960. Both were slain on a Friday and in the presence of their wives. Both were shot in the back of the head. Their successors, both named Johnson, were Southern Democrats and both were in Senate. Andrew Johnson was born 1808 and Lyndon Johnson was born 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who was born in 1839 and Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939. I mean, these are coincidences that just line up far too easily. Booth and Oswald were Southerners. Both presidents' wives lost children through death while in the White House. Lincoln's secretary, whose name was Kennedy, advised him not to go to the theatre. Kennedy's secretary, whose name was Lincoln, advised him not to go to Dallas. John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln in a theatre and ran to a warehouse. Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and ran to a theatre. The name Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters. The names Andrew Johnson and Lyndon Johnson each contain 13 letters. The names John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald each contain 15 letters. Both assassins were killed before being brought to trial. And both Johnsons are opposed for re-election by men whose names start with G.
By this theory, it's a century theory.
Yeah.
Because it happens once a century. That means in 2039, the next assassin will be born.
Oh, wow. And there you go.
You've just got to live to 2062 to find out if this is a pattern.
I can do that. I can see that happening. I can see it happening. I mean, my theory overall. That was just a fun little thing that I found. And
There's really a lot of coincidences.
It is
between them,
very,
definitely.
it's very eerie, but it's pretty cool. And my theory is pretty much taken what we've already said, is that I reckon JFK did piss somebody off, to be honest. He knew something he shouldn't have known, or he had certain information. I mean, we've not even gone into the whole idea that he was, the story that he was secretly seeing Marilyn Monroe on the side. We've not gone through any of that. Which we're not doing because we're talking about the assassination and not his personal life. That had nothing to do with the assassination, but overall I think he's pissed somebody off. Some higher-ups have gone, right, we need to get rid of this guy, and unfortunately I don't think we can wait till election time, because he could quite easily use the information he's got to win the next election. And they just bumped him off. But at the same time, I do think that the mob as well helped, or at least had, or maybe they were both planning to do it, and just one got there before the other one. So and they were just sort of really grateful it happened, and just sort of like,
no,
we're going to help cover this up.
I like this, because if you think that Oswald was the mob's hitman,
yeah,
and then the actual better, fully trained sniper who only took one shot was the one above.
Yeah.
And you're this highly trained assassin, paid, nobody saw you came in, nobody saw you leave, you were that damn good, right? And you're like, oh fuck, this guy's taking the shot. Damn, he missed. Oh, I've got to do my work now.
That's it. They both set up in the same building.
Didn't know of each other.
Yeah. One worked, one didn't. And the one that didn't work, he took the fall.
I'd like to see that as a comedy skit. Just like...
I would, yeah. That would be really funny, actually. But I mean, overall, again, it's one of those ones that, unfortunately, I don't think the truth will ever come out.
I think there's a lot of political stuff that happened around Kennedy that gives it, there's too many, it's a case of there's too many suspects to say which one did it.
Yeah.
In terms of who hired the killer.
Yeah.
Because Oswald, no chance, was working alone and did that off his own back.
No. He had somebody. Somebody planned something, because that can't just have been, I'm going to go and buy a gun and assassinate him. That was well and truly thought out, planned, and that had taken somebody who knew the route he was going to take, knew that he was planning to come to Dallas. I mean, I know obviously they'll explain it in the news and they'll tell you he's coming to Dallas, he's going to be doing this, but to have known within a few days just to sort of get everything prepped and ready to go, yeah, he had help.
But to have picked the window he did, where some people did report after the shooting they saw a shadowy figure. One person reported it as a man of colour. Like, the fact that they saw it afterwards and nobody was looking up at those windows beforehand.
Yeah.
Was a very, like, a planned thing. Because if you were ahead of the president and, like, got caught, it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
Like, there'd be less theory of one gunman or two, because you would have seen two if it was any other building. Mm. They've like, it's been picked too well and covered up well. And
yeah, it really has. Again, I don't think we'll ever get the answer that we want. I mean, if we could ever find out, would you want to know?
No, I just like the fact that Jack Ruby was the hero.
Yeah,
that's my favourite part of all of this. I don't know whether he was a club owner who chose that name or was born with that name, but it was like
born with it. That's
it's
just
too
like the
too infitting.
Name.
So like a club owner named Jack Ruby of everything feels like a comic book.
It does. But I think we're gonna say we've loved this episode. I mean, I have. I think we've had a great start for our second season. And I hope you enjoy the rest of it. I hope you stick around with us. We've got some great episodes coming this season. Like I say, we've got a lot of supernatural stuff coming. Next week, we've got the Amityville haunting. We've also got this season, the story of La Llorona. Just some of the ones that we've got sort of coming. Roanoke Colony, Hotel Cecil. We've got quite a fair bit in this season.
Mary Celeste.
Celeste. That's going to be a great one. So yeah, we have got some great episodes coming this season.
Thank you everyone for joining us on this intriguing journey through the unknown. We've had a blast exploring mysteries, conspiracies and the extraordinary with you.
If you've enjoyed our discussion and want to stay updated on our latest episodes, make sure to hit the subscribe button and share the caffeinated love.
And if you've got a conspiracy theory or an unsolved mystery and you'd like us to delve into it, don't hesitate. Drop us a line. We love hearing from you.
Until our next caffeinated adventure, keep sipping on curiosity, and remember that sometimes the truth is hidden behind the most unexpected place. This is Omer.
And I'm Glen, signing off from Caffeinated Conspiracies. Cheers, and until next time, take care, and may your curiosity never run dry.